Grand Rising. Welcome to the a little breath work here after some family time for everyone. So I'm just going to invite everyone just to take a moment, get comfortable, find your breath.
Oh, now I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
All right, hold on. We have a guest here coming in live from Maine.
Hey, Matt. We were having a slight technical difficulty,
Yeah.
Which isn't actually surprising because of the full moon energy and the, fact that I'm in the woods.
I love it.
So Grand Rising, everybody. Yeah, so here I am. I thought it would be really fun today to do the breath work in the place where I spent my childhood, which was in this exact little forest. I think I've told you many times that all I really did growing up was climb trees. Well, now it's actually kind of interesting, Matt, because a lot of the trees are actually getting old and
Oh,
probably not even climbable anymore. And my mom and dad have had to cut down several of the big old pines because they were just getting old like me, Matt. And I did want to say, I hope everybody had an awesome Christmas. Welcome to Rise Up Breathwork. We're the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers. And yeah, I'm so thrilled that it's like 50 degrees in Maine now, which is wild.
yeah.
So I don't even have two base layers on, Matt. I only have one base layer on. Because you
Yeah.
know me, I don't love being cold. I also wanted to share with you this little funny contraption and invention that my father created, which is what I'm going to be setting okay, can you see this? So my dad took
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah.
an old phone. Oh my God, this is like my ADD brain. Okay, hold on. Let me put this down. Here we go. So my dad created a stand for himself to put his iPad and his phone on when he, talks to the grandkids and stuff. But it's just this hilarious blend of the old and the new for his computer machine. So thank you, Daddy, for letting me borrow this today for the podcast so that I could have a stand for my phone. I just thought people might get a kick out of that. It's
I
called,
love that. That's beautiful.
right? It's called like making use of what you have.
Yeah.
So, and then I also wanted to show you. So, look at what my perch is going to be today. Is this old stump? So,
Mm,
talk about getting grounded. I'm
yeah.
going to be sitting on a stump, and I'm going to probably even take my shoes off, Matt, and I'm going to put my feet right on the ground
Yeah.
because the practice of grounding is awesome, right? Like just taking even this time of year, you can do it. I'm not the biggest fan of having cold feet, but I do have my Ugg boot slipper things to put my feet right into right after we do this.
You
So
could
I'm going to,
use a pair of socks too, is because it's the rubber that stops you from grounding.
true,
So you
right?
can
I'll keep my
keep
socks
your
on.
socks on and change them out afterwards, just to help maybe a little bit.
Pro tip, Matt. And again, yeah, so this is a great practice post Christmas travel, post Christmas stress, which actually Christmas went off without a hitch this year. There was like no traffic and everybody seems pretty happy. So I'm in my happy place. So I'm going to let you take it away, Matt, and I'm going to get comfortable on this log right here. And I did want to let everybody know, actually, really quick, we're not going to be having the Friday night group this Friday because so many of us are out of town. But we will be on for Soul Saturday.
There
I
you
will
go.
have the shop open 12 to 3 because it's New Year's Eve, baby. People might want to come by for a little holiday cheer. And I
Absolutely.
will certainly, if I'm not there, Stan will be, but the shop will be open regardless. If you guys need some CBD to calm your central nervous system as an alternative to the other libations that people will be sharing and partaking in on New Year's.
Beautiful.
Get your health on, right, Matt?
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
I'm gonna reposition my camera situation here so I can get on the log that is now my tripod. But yes, enjoy the woods,
I love
everybody.
it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep your picture on just because it's a nice. You want to keep your camera?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Oop,
Yeah, keep it on. It's a nice, like right there. It's like perfect.
there we go.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm thrilled that this stump gets another purpose, right? It's
I'm
quite
actually.
pretty. Look at the moss. Look at this moss on
That's
it.
why I wanted you to keep the camera there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like gorgeous. It's like It like wants my feet to be on it.
Hey, since you're on the other end of the camera, which is not usual. How's the sound? Just let me know how the sound is for you. Can you hear it and stuff?
Oh, I can hear it. Yeah, if anything, it's a little maybe close to the microphone. It's a little like,
A little too close?
yeah, maybe a tiny bit close. So maybe pull it off a little bit. But oh my God, this feels amazing. I want this in my house.
I know, right?
There we go. So my staff is calling me during my podcast.
They're fired.
Oh my
Right.
God, this moss actually feels amazing.
Oh yeah. It's like a better than a carpet.
I mean, you can definitely tell I'm at home in the woods. I mean, I love the city and I love traveling, but there's no place like home, they say, right, Matt?
I hear you. Yeah. It's just beautiful to have had a home. Like I moved a lot, so I never felt like I could say anything was ever a home. I lived in like 6 different states growing up. Um,
Oh, wow.
So it's like, like I something like listening to like folks like you just talk about like living in one place and even just knowing people for like, like you could go walking somewhere and maybe run into someone from 30 years ago. Like fascinates me a little bit.
Well, I was always a little bit underwhelmed
Yeah,
by the fact that I had only lived in two houses up until the age of 17. But stability is great for children. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
I think it's a blessing for sure.
yeah,
But my little Sandy couldn't wait to get out of the woods and go see what else was going on in the big city. But
yeah,
now I appreciate the woods so much more, and I do appreciate how I grew up, so much more now that I'm raising my own family. We've thought about Jay becoming a travel nurse or doing this and that, but it's like your kids. It's hard to move every 30 family.
yeah. No, it's brutal, but it's like I was always an outdoors person, and I didn't get into the outdoors actually until I think I was always outside, but like the woods came into light for me when we moved to Georgia, and like we lived on the Chattahoochee, and part of the phys ed down there was you got to choose what classes you wanted to take, so they weren't like dictating to you like what you had to take. And so I took like outdoor backpacking and camping and all this stuff, and that's kind of like was my gateway into the forest.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how.
Wow. So I totally take that for granted too. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like when you guys all talk about you had to come home when the street lights came on.
yeah,
Well, guess what? There weren't any street lights up here.
yeah. I was always in cities, like Chicago and places like that. So yeah, yeah. So it's kind of I love, yeah, so it's like so beautiful just to see like, like where you were as a little munchkin running around and with your sister causing trouble and the parents were like just come home when the bears chase you probably.
My mom is just like, please don't break the tree. Like, please don't let the tree let this be not the day that the tree gives out and breaks and Sandy ends up on the ground. I could always like hear the trees though. Like I could
Mm,
tell. I was telling them this last night. Like I did push my luck. I did definitely want to see how high I could get, right? Like I
yeah,
had nothing else to do, Matt. I was but I could literally like hear the tree creak and kind of move and bend with me. And I think I think I knew if it was going to break, and I would push my luck right up into the point of like it creaking, and I would back off. I had a relationship with these trees, and we really had. It's again, there's a lot worse ways that you could have grown up. So again, this I always go back to the roots of
yeah,
what church is all about, and it is so much of what we're trying to do is get people back out into nature, because
yeah,
again, I definitely took it for granted when I was a kid. So
yeah, I love that. I used to climb the trees too quite a bit, like in the backyard and stuff, and I would do the same thing you did, except I just wasn't as smart as you. And I did climb to the top once and had it snap on me and kind of like bounced all the way down. With my mom like cleaning in the backyard, and she was just watching me bounce down the tree, and I hit the ground. She's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "I'm good."
Well, good thing kids bounce, right? So I have to say, Matt, what has it been, like 5 minutes that I've had my feet on the moss right
Yeah,
now?
yeah, about yeah.
I feel I feel like the bottom of my feet are like coming alive. Like they're not
Mm.
in any kind of pain. I have no it's not uncomfortable at all, but instead I'm getting like a really cool, like just like tingling sensation in the
Oh,
bottom of my feet.
think
Like
about
they're waking up.
yeah, maybe just even ask permission to like really connect with the earth this morning. As we kind of settle in, just like ask that permission, breathe in from the feet. Maybe is an invitation for you because that's just gonna come alive for you. There's so much you're connected to the whole world right now, right there.
I was out here last night on the same log. I asked permission a few times in the last few
Yeah,
days.
you're probably. I love it. So yeah, so let's just drop in to sound, your surroundings. Maybe if you are at home, maybe take a quick second and maybe just open a window and let some fresh air into the space that you're in, and just kind of breathe in some beautiful fresh air. Thinking of the outdoors, I feel like sometimes, we forget to air the house out in the wintertime. We stay so closed in.
Yeah. The re-
So maybe open a window for a second and then come back to your space. Just finding some comfort. Maybe just tuning into the sound. Maybe allowing for the sound to put away any excitement from seeing family and presents and time off. And just allowing for yourself just to take a moment to sink back into the body. Maybe to sink into your breath a little bit and just bring awareness to your breath. So just hearing the sounds of my voice and the bowls. Maybe breathing in that fresh air coming in now. Maybe taking your shoes off as well, like Sandy, and just connecting a little bit deeper to the ground. Keeping your attention on the sound of my voice, the sound of frequency, and just hearing it. Don't define my words. Just breathe in the sounds around you. Just an invitation here to just drop into this moment and into you. Maybe just also bringing awareness to your contact points, to the ground, to the tree, to the chair. Contact points of hands touching legs or stomach, your back. Anything that's making contact with something else. Just breathing in to the contact points. Breathing into the sound as well, all at the same time. Maybe even just inviting in to breathe or awareness to the quality of the air around you. Sound, contact points, allowing all of this to drop you into your system. Checking in on the breath. How's your breathing today? Just check into that. Like as you tap into all this now and maybe just dropping a little bit deeper into the system, into our body. How is your body feeling today? And it's really just recognizing, maybe not putting too many words to it, but just go on how it feels. So for me, my body this morning when I did this was a little off. I've been off, my routine for a week. I haven't really been doing my breathing very well. And so sometimes with the holidays or stuff like this, like we lose maybe like our routines a little bit, and maybe we eat a little bit differently, permissioning ourselves to just enjoy foods that maybe we don't always eat. Maybe life just became different in other ways as well, because we lose track of ourselves sometimes, and the holidays is definitely one time of year that we do it. But also just a reminder too that this occurs throughout the year as well, and attuning into the breath, into sound, and kind of bringing ourselves back home again, because like this is becoming home maybe for some of us, to be a little bit more comfortable within our body with our breath, tuning into the body and knowing how it's doing today. And so maybe just relaxing your system through the breath and through sound. Maybe allowing for like a decompression, just letting everything go. I know one of the things that I noticed for myself, particularly with yesterday, is that, you know, having made this choice to change my life in the sense of trying to find, you know, who I really am and all that, right? And so what was nice is like with my particular family, is I always created enormous amounts of stress and anger and discomfort with family gatherings. And so, and that's been changing. And I just realized last night, with my nephews and nieces that are kind of like, 17 to, or 16 to like 22, um, how beautiful and no stress, and we just had pure enjoyment of being with each other, going for a hike, eating, playing games. We had like a board game night. And I was driving, and as I was leaving, I was just like realizing how beautiful all that felt. And I didn't really bring in the past, but I just was realizing like how nice it was just to enjoy family without being, because I was the creator of the chaos. So, and so it was just like, a gift for me, just realizing, the beauty of stepping into the void, into the fear. And then, yesterday just being one of the gifts. Way more beautiful than any gift I could physically unwrap. Just that sensation of just like being able to have joy in life, and particularly sometimes with family, because they are the ones that know us the best. They've been around forever. They know it all. There's nothing I can hide from them. So maybe just realizing your gift of maybe what you received energetically for a moment, or just the presence of, your family, and just breathing that in for a moment and seeing how that feels in your system. So just take a moment, breathe in maybe the gratitude and the joy that you experienced. Just really feeling it in your system. Where do you discover this joy? Is it in your heart? Maybe even feeling relaxed around the throat or mouth. Knowing that we can just be heard in joy without the complications. And just focusing in on that, even if it wasn't a perfect flow for you, but just to really think about the successes over the last couple days with family and friends. And now I'm just going to invite in a nice deep breath through the nose up to the crown, to the top of the head for a hold. And then on the exhale, just inviting in sensation and just dropping it into your body as a whole, trying to breathe the body as a whole. Maybe to invite in movement, a stretch, a shake. Stand up for a second. Breathe in the fresh air around you. And just allow for all of this to drop you just into the moment of right now. And if you're moving or sensing any smells, like just to invite that in as part of how you feel. We don't have to disconnect with the movement or the smells. It can just bring in like a deeper sense of peace, relaxation.
A lot of pining going on over here.
Yeah.
That terpene that's found in our beloved sacred sacrament of
Yeah.
hemp is also found in the conifers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I love that connection, you know.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I love that.
It's just a tad bit damp, also, you know.
I
I
know.
wish we had television. Hey, you never know. In like 30 years, I might be able to send the frequency of the smell through these
It
devices,
might
right?
be quicker than that.
It could
Quicker.
be. Somebody needs to get on that.
Yeah.
If you could smell your grandma's apple pie baking, it'd probably get you over grandma's house a lot faster, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Just enjoying the simplicity here for a moment, and you know, tapping back into your breath, maybe settling back into the system for a moment. And so now, as we shift, we focus our attention on an upcoming new year, right? Maybe people are setting like goals or New Year's resolutions.
Sankalpas.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. Um,
That's a new word for me, so I'm just trying to keep it in my vocabulary. They say if you
what
use
what
a word 3 times in a
what was
sentence spontaneously, and then the word is yours forever. I think my fourth grade English teacher told me that. So
what
if
was
you're
the word?
trying to expand vocabulary, just try to in like the same couple of days use the word in a sentence, and then
So
it'll be yours
can you use it again?
forever. Sankalpa.
And what does that mean for people?
So it's just like what you were talking about, sort of setting, making an agreement with yourself on that you want to work on or go up, things, you know, that are no longer serving you.
Yeah.
Um, it's really setting intentions, I guess. From what I'm understanding, again, I'm a very young student, so um, I'm blessed that Sarah and Anna are going to be coming up this week, and they're really have encouraging me as I work on my first yoga program and my first community class, and really finding my voice and what that's going to look like, you know, for me as I step into the role.
Yeah, I
You
love
know,
that.
again, I think it's really important to keep our neuroplasticity, and whether it's learning how to play the guitar at age 60 or
Yeah.
the piano, it's learning you could, you know, it's never too late, right, to learn something new. So
Yeah.
this is just the time for me that's worked out where I have a little bit of actual time where I can be away from the kiddos and um, kind of more invest in myself, in my future, in my community, you know. So I'm super excited for this week because we're going to get to I get to be with my yogi mamas, and we're going to be doing a lot of meditation stuff. I actually just wrote my first meditation for children, which we're going to test out on the kiddos when we get up to the camp.
Yeah, I remember you
But yeah,
mentioned. I'm glad. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
yeah,
And
because I mean, I want to start an open conversation really with like my child's the PTA, and see sort of what's going on in school as
yeah.
far as like the wellness and mindfulness. I know it's like classroom to classroom, they kind of do different things depending on the teacher, but you know, there's at this point in my kids' school, there isn't like a yoga club yet or anything like that. So I'm kind of feeling inspired to see if I can inspire my kids to start a revolution. We'll
Well,
see. I got the yoga mats and meditation cushions, so we'll see if they use those or if they're just going to use them to play video games on. That's to be determined. But hey, you know, you can't, because again, you can't force any. I don't try to force anything on my kids. My parents didn't force any one particular religion on me. You know, I was baptized, but then they were kind of like, we want you to decide for yourself. And I think that that's actually a really beautiful thing, you know, to give your kids the strength and the freedom to explore and to ask questions and to challenge, you know, the existing structures. Because, you know, just because that church has been there for 500 or 600 years doesn't necessarily mean that it's evolved with the times. You know what I mean? And maybe it has. And I think it all depends again on that particular parish and that particular, hierarchy of people that are actually running that particular place. Because all church to me really is now is community glue. As Stanley so eloquently put it, when I was struggling with, using and adopting these words in my own People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers organization, it was like, are we just a 501c3 or are we a benevolent charity slash church? And I got to kind of have this, really deep portal kind of opened inside of me where I was like, words do matter. Words matter tremendously to me, especially. And I always talk about spelling and how your words cast spells, just like your thoughts ripple, to the people around you and even to the water that you drink, right? So I don't even know where the heck I was going with that.
That's, that's beautiful.
Lost it.
I think part of what you were saying that I think is beautiful is like, part of the church and just a part of who you are and a part of the circle that's surrounding you is like, we're so focused on, what what are we going to bring into into the future, and writing this children's meditation, maybe even thinking about like the yoga and maybe even expanding like the thoughts of the education system, which is failing, but we can start bringing practices in that might become more of the norm in the future, and also be like a headway there, and maybe even offering something from your standpoint, to go into the classroom like once a month maybe. When before I left the rock climbing gym, I was doing a lot of the sound healing and the breathing with the kids, which I had been doing for a while, and it was a part of my practice throughout my teaching and coaching career. Um, but in particularly at the rock climbing gym here at the end, um, I had a parent come up to me one day, and the parents who saw it and witnessed it were like actually joined in a lot of the times, and just were like, "We need more of this." And then, but one of the times, one of the parents who would never saw it, witness was noticing that their child or son was not responding to getting hit in the leg or bumping into the wall or something that would create pain where he would over exaggerate it. And so I worked on that with him, like through the breathing and stuff. And the parent noticed it, and then the parent saw him actually kind of fall and get a little bit hurt at the end of class when she was coming to pick him up, and she just noticed like him like checking on his breath real quick and not going into the over exaggeration. And she just kind of looked at me and she kind of put one plus one together, and she's like, is this where he's getting this from? Because she
Nice.
saw me do like this for breathing with him without using any words, and notice how calm he was so quickly. And then she kind of like came over and said something to me, and and I think, you know when people see it and they see the effects that it can not only have on ourselves but our children, um, we can make this maybe even part. I think we have a lot on our plate of things that we want to make normalized, but that's part of the
You,
beauty. What's
I
that?
mean, my kids like looking at me out the window, like
Oh,
earlier, when I started this. I mean, their mom is just like sitting on a tree stump in the
yeah,
backyard for an hour
yeah,
to find peace. And like, right, we have to normalize this.
yeah. That's right. And so maybe that could be even a focus for you for the year, and even for myself, I'm not going to say my age, but it's not really a big deal. But one of the things I want to bring into 2024 on top, because for me, I've always loved music, and so starting to create sound with the sound bowls and other things. And I was talking to your husband over the weekend as well about something else I want to learn, and he was kind of pointing me in a direction. And then also a part of my, because I've never felt musically talented, and so like starting to explore this has been really beautiful for this year. And I think for next year, as I've been kind of naming this out loud too, is I'm going to take drum lessons. Down. I want to take some drum lessons down the street at that place, a couple doors down from here. And and like you just said, like yeah, I want to start learning how to carry a beat. Like when we had that drum circle, it was fun. And Jason's like, just do this and this, and I'm like, well, I don't compute that way. I can't just carry a beat. Like I'm not. capable of that. So, that's why I want to take the drum lessons and add that into this and start and move past that frequency of I love music but can't play it. Let's just love it and play it, and I'll find that
Right.
right. And yeah. So why
Yeah,
doesn't
because
everyone maybe
you're
find something beautiful that they want to bring in? Maybe you've already thought about it. Maybe just breathe into it for a moment. Like, what's alive for you? So just tuning into the breath. And maybe I'm just going to invite you here for a moment to not say to yourself, I'm going to do this. Whatever it is for you, I'm going to invite you for a moment to imagine yourself doing it. So instead of maybe writing it down or thinking like, yeah, I'm going to bring this into my life, just see yourself now through the breath, through the mind, through imagery, taking a moment and just envisioning and breathing in the energy of you doing exactly what it is that you want to write down. But just see yourself actually doing it and living it and developing through the breath right now as you see it. How does it feel in your system? How's it making you feel? Like maybe, how does it make you feel to see kids like respond to something that you're doing and stepping out of that boundary? Or maybe how does it feel if you want to bring in more nature? How does it make you feel? Does it open you up a little bit more expansive? Maybe a different sense of joy. And then, like what Sandy was also saying is so beautiful too, like just naming it, like naming it 3 times or really bringing it into. And naming it has been something super alive in my journey in the last, like, say, 2 weeks. Naming it, naming what it is that you want to bring into 2024, naming that I want to take drum lessons, and then Sandy's gonna be like, "Hey, did you go talk to them yet?" Maybe when you see me next week, I'm like, "No, I didn't." So by like naming it, it puts it out there to not only excite myself, but to let other people know, like, yeah, I'm doing this, and it kind of makes it more a part of us. Naming even things in our journey, like for me, I had to start naming a health concern that I've hidden for over 20 years. And but by naming it now, I can talk about it like very openly, and it's, there's shame attached to it, there's embarrassment attached to it, there's a whole bunch of stuff attached here, and this is an old pattern of mine going way back to my childhood. So naming it the beauty of what we want to bring in, but maybe even naming the chain that's holding us back. I remember having a little conversation with Sandy yesterday morning, and I'm leaving this behind can also be a part of what we're bringing in. And by naming it, by someone naming it, then I can be like, hey, how you doing with that since you named that to me the other day? How's that holding up for you? And, like I think by bringing in, naming it changes my energy. It changes my comfort around something that's bringing me discomfort. It's letting the shame go, letting all the stuff go. and then just bringing in action that's going to help. And then sometimes with new things, what might we have to do with stuff that's new? That could also be stepping out of our comfort zone, because maybe we need a little help, and maybe asking for help is something that we don't do well with, or asking for guidance. So maybe like breathing in that honesty of like, how does it feel to actually ask for guidance or help when we need it? Maybe when we really need it, when we're not really feeling that good. I was in a class last week with my program through the somatic coaching, and the woman was bringing us through a meditation on this topic, actually. And she's like, breathe in, just exactly what I just said to you. Breathe in. How does it feel to maybe have to ask for help and to receive it? And then she was asking everyone to type it in chat, how that made them feel. And everyone's typing in abundance, happiness, joy. And then I type in, when I typed in something about how it really was like a sharp, closed in feeling in my heart, like it really hurt, like there was a lot of pain in my heart when I breathed into it, very sharp for me, and it really closed in my chest. And when I wrote whatever it was that I wrote, she loved it. She was like, "Yes, that's it right there," because like how authentic and honest are we sometimes being with ourselves? Like, yeah, it feels good to be asking maybe for help, but does it really? Like to really breathe into the body and know what's alive there. And then again, by naming it and bringing this to realization, then this is where the transformation, the healing, this is how we start unlinking the chain that's maybe holding us back energetically from really moving into the future, into 2024. Because isn't this what is going to change the world? Not talking about, I hope this doesn't happen, or war, or this or that, but just focusing on our frequency, our energy, our words, the spells that we're not only casting on ourselves, but everyone around us in our community, the people that we love, and the new people that are going to walk into our lives this year. That's how we change the world, and that's how we will change it. Just remember that whatever's going on, it's all just an awakening process, bringing more people into our circle, into whatever circle you may have. And so I'm just receiving in a really strong way right now, just the naming of stuff, the good, the bad, because I feel like that's what really opens up my throat, my voice to be heard, and the comfort to be heard too, and to be heard sometimes with stuff that's difficult. It's not easy, when we bring shame and or something like that to it. That just, it's not an easy one. But when we name it, like Sandy was saying, that's the beauty. I didn't even notice the time. Oh, you have snow up there? Do you have snow? I want snow. I'm
What's
coming.
that?
Do you have snow?
No snow.
Oh.
Nope,
Oh.
no
I
snow.
thought I saw something that looked like
Oh
snow.
no, it's way too warm. But yeah, no, there was just a bird like freaking out. So I just figured I would take you guys on a little walk meditation out
Mm.
here.
Yeah. So hope everyone enjoyed that breathe today. That maybe bringing in some different thoughts on as we do step into this new year, and maybe um, yeah, kind of with what came to light with you today. And so, like Sandy said, we'll start up the Friday night in January, and
Yeah, actually,
shop will be
first Friday,
there. Yeah,
that
go ahead.
first Friday, sorry to interrupt you. It's actually, we're going to be, we rescheduled the making the magic wand
Oh, for that.
crystal wrapping.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be January 5th, that first Friday
I
of the
love it.
year. So we'll make an intentional magic wand. Yeah.
I like. Yeah,
Yeah, well, love you. My
I was
phone is
looking.
actually about to die, Matt.
That doesn't surprise me.
I even put it on the charger at 6 a.m. in anticipation of this, but it uses a lot of juice
Yeah, it does.
doing this
Well,
podcasting.
especially with the video. Yeah. Well, I hope everyone has a beautiful, safe New Year. And Sandy, enjoy your time with the kiddos up in Maine. And say hi to everyone. And yeah, we'll see you on the next week in the new
Yeah,
year.
see you next week.
Okay.
Love you. Get out in the woods. Look up at the moon. Howl at it even. Woo.
Amazing last night. Oh my God, it was so beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it too.
Oh yeah.
All right. You guys
All right,
get in some
everyone.
nature. Love you.